prefer taking the metro and then the train because I rather save 1 hour of my precious time than go by a road which is like, it just takes so long. And also I don't know, I feel that this is where I began. What has changed in me suddenly that I can't take the train? There is no reason.
Yeah.
And I feel that when I hear conversations, it just makes me feel so grateful that, like I mentioned right in the beginning, that's why I mentioned, because I do that. And I see all these people and I feel, oh God, I'm so lucky to be living the only dream I ever had.
So do I. What one brutal reality about the filmmaking that young directors need to hear from you?
I think everyone is constantly trying to be like someone else, and I feel that it's so important to find your own voice, own story that you want to tell, and not be like someone else, and not be in a hurry to quickly make it. Especially the younger generation, because I feel there is a big hurry that, I have just come out of the institute or whatever, and now I need to make a film, and I feel that filmmaking, there are exceptions always, but you need to give it time to experience life, to experience the craft. It's a beautiful craft, and to, learn that, and to also realize that you are not making a project. You're not trying to make a film for eyeballs. You have to make a film which, I feel that if you tell a story through which you also grow as an artist and as a human being, it will always leave a mark beyond the box office. A lot of films which has earned thousands of crores are forgotten, right? But one small thing. When I remember when I Am got the national award, I didn't know that my producer, was my business partner Sanjay Surya had applied, because I was always very cynical about this awards. So I was in Hyderabad at a university giving a talk, took the flight, didn't know that the national awards were getting announced. When I landed in Bombay, suddenly, when I switched on my phone, it was flooded with messages, and phone started ringing, and someone said, "Oh, you've won the national award." So I was standing in the airport, I started crying. And everyone's looking at me that someone must have died or something has got that news. And I was thinking that, Juhi called me up and she started laughing. She said, I called up Shah Rukh and I told him, your 150 crore film has got the best special effects. And our 1.5 crore film has got the best film. So that is happiness.
That's also the end of the question round from me. If the format allows, then I can take a couple of questions. I don't know whether format allows or not. It allows. Very good. I think you are very excited to ask your questions. Go ahead. You can just, anybody can raise a hand and ask questions. Yes. Just be brief so that we can take more questions. Mukti, help around.
Yeah, hi, hi. It was.
Somebody has raised a hand.
Okay, okay.
Please.
Yeah.
Huh?
Only the director, only the traveler, or only the producer?
Actually, direction and traveling is together. It's always a journey, but my first love is direction.
Yes, sir. Your question.
Hello, I'm Deep Chaudhary, filmmaker. My question, rather observation. I've seen, when I see queer films, a lot of not in respect or only respect of Indian cinema, in Western films also. I've noticed that mostly the physical aspect, always been highlighted. I don't think that queer issues are only related to sexual needs or whatsoever. It's beyond that, I think. I know, being a queer person, you must have realized, there are other challenges which is more important, more significant than this issue. So, what is your take on that? I want to just know.
Two aspects to it. One is, if you realize the Supreme Court of India decriminalized homosexuality, didn't allow same-sex marriage, which means it allowed sex. So as a society, always the focus has been on the sexual aspect of the community. It's also used to stereotype in a lot of even Indian series. Is the only thing you see is that. Having said that, I feel also there are two aspects to it. Recently, I made this film, which is Pinecone, where it also celebrates queer desire, though it's much beyond that. And I was having a screening in Kolkata, and there was this lady journalist who comes to me after the screening and says, "Onir, I'm not a prude, but do we need so much of love making?" So I said that I have a question for you. You will be sitting at a film which is a 2.5 hours film, and watch 2 hours of extreme violence and gore. And I have a 90-minute film, and you have 4 minutes of lovemaking, and that is too much. So where is the problem?
Absolutely.
It's the problem of gays.
It kills the entire. That's so good. I was that day. The great, not great, most popular film of the year, Puspa 2, came on Netflix. Tried to see 3.5 minutes. It's impossible to go beyond it. How can I could not finish the first scene itself of Japan landing, and I don't know what is that. I said, come on, yeah, what a bullshit things people can do. Anyway, that's the most popular film. I will not go about popularity and thing. Yes, Tina. Can you pass on? Oh, yeah. Can somebody? Yes, please. Why not? You have a question? Yeah, sorry. Next, Tina.
Okay, hello Anir, I'm Diti Munir. My question may be not directly related to films, but since you're so good at answering, I want to just.
Thank you.
I'm very curious. See, supporting the queer community is just like human to human thing, and I'm always for that. But sometimes, if we consider America as the ultimate of liberal freedom and
I
everything.
don't.
I don't.
Okay.
I know the question.
No, my support is always there. But what of late I have seen, in the name of liberalization or freedom, whatever, people are taking too much of advantage, and so much so that men are disguised as women and entering ladies' bathroom. These are happening in places. So, how do you see that?
Okay, one is, people say that men are disguised as women and entering women's loos. Okay, but if you think of the number of trans people who don't have the access to gender fluid, and this happens in schools, number of students who get assaulted, raped, trans people. If you see the statistics, you'll see that much more. But people don't talk about it. People don't talk about, young students committing suicide, dying by suicide because of being assaulted, because these boys, who feel they're women or seen as feminine, when they're going to the men's loo, boys' loo, they get teased, assaulted, and they can't go to the female loo. So where do they go? Where, as a society, have we made a space for them? We haven't, no? So isn't it easier to just have a space where they can go? It's such a small thing, necessity to have, is a loo. So I feel that very often there is this whole thing, and also what is dressing up as a man, or I had gone to this museum in Bhopal, and I remember there was this beautiful statue of Radha Krishna. Both of them were wearing dhoti kind of a thing till here. Both of them were naked. Both of them were wearing jewelry. Both of them had long hair, earrings, everything, and you're wondering. And they had hands over each other's shoulder like this, proudly. Radha Krishna, both of them. And I'm like, okay, which dress am I supposed to consider as feminine of the two of them? They're both wearing the same thing. And that is us, I feel. The beauty of our culture is that we have always celebrated the femininity and masculinity. And actually, this is a very Western concept of strict difference. Us, we have always embraced, like if you look at our dance form, a Bharatnatyam dancer will be Shiva and will be Parvati. A male and a female will do both the parts, right? So we accept it. You know, Arjun lived for 9 months as a woman. He dressed up as a woman, lived in a woman's house. Do we curse him for that? Right?
What about Sikhanti?
Absolutely. And this is what I tell the army, that one of the most powerful warriors in Indian history, mythology, and the first trans character in world literature is Shikhandi, who went to war and because of which Pandavas won, but now our army says no, no to queer people. You know. So I feel that it is how one has been taught history, how one has been. But if one really looks at and thinks that what, who created these boundaries?
So it's sensitive answer, Jinath. I think this is the last question. Any more? Yes, sir. That is the last. Oh, you Arut Polda. Okay, I have 3 more questions, no more because lunch sabko khana bhi hai.
Oni, my dear friend, you are who you are because of what you've done so far. But I'm very curious to know the kind of routine that you follow to a follow-up of a film when you're going to make a film. What is your routine, and what is the routine when you're not making a film? I'm very interested to know about that.
When I'm not making a film, I'm always trying to make the next one. So I feel that in between films, a lot of time goes in, stories, trying to write stories, and also because most of increasingly the films that I'm trying to make are more difficult to make. So, to figure it out the logistics, and because when you're producing, directing, it's not just about writing the story and going to figure out the finances, figure out a crew. Then after that, you have to make sure you travel with the film to give it a certain validation. Then, unfortunately in our country, it has more value. So it's a long process, from inception to release. You have to be totally involved with that baby. But apart from it, like what I love doing, I spend a lot of time while also writing. Is I love trekking and traveling, and that also helps me write. So and I do also a lot of filmmaking workshops. Interestingly, it's for the Indian Army in Kashmir. So I keep telling, a lot of them love me, and they call me, and I keep telling them, they go, actually, I'm working for the Indian Army only. And everyone knows I'm giving classes to you all and your students. So it is, I increasingly like doing these workshops with, especially I've done 2 workshops in Kashmir because I feel there's very little, opportunity there, lots of stories. So I do it with Kashmiri students in Kashmiri language. I'm learning the language and trying to empower them to tell their own stories. So I've recently done 4 films, which will be screened in April in Kashmir, So, and then I'll plan more workshops with the students there. That's something really makes me happy.
Yes, sir, from Mizoram.
Thing actually, as Onit sir and Talukdar sir, like your creativity is not like as a promoting the rights, but also as a creative community. You are creative a community. So this queer community is not like a particular group of the people, but they are creative community because they are artists, they are activists.
Actually, I'm sorry. I mean,
So-
it sounds nice, but queer people are just like any other people. There are queer people who are not artists. They're industrialists. They're terrible people. They're good people. Everything.
Yeah. So why I'm saying, in Rajasthan is like princely state culture system. Present time also many royal families. They have kind of creative people in their wedding ceremonies, their cultural activity. 3, 4, 5 days they have, and the creative people they are lead the all ceremonies. so that's why I'm saying that instead we are promoting the right, we are promoting the creative people. That's what I'm saying.
Thank you, sir. Thank
That
you
is
for
the-
your observation. Utpalda, last question. We can finish it off the session.
I'm very curious to know how you made your first film, the journey to your first film.
Oh, that's a long question. The
But
thing
don't make
is,
it one-liner, please.
yeah. So actually, in 2000, after when I was shooting Daman, at the end of it, very often Kalpana would tell me that if there is a meeting or something, she would always not trust any of her assistants, but she would tell me that she used to call me Bon. So why don't you direct this scene? So I ended up directing some scenes with Sanjay Suri and everyone, and while making that, both Ravina and Sanjay, they started telling me, but you're so good at your ideas and how you've never directed before, but you just effortlessly do it. Why don't you make your own? So I started writing scripts, and everything I would write from year 2000 was too bold. Nobody would